Really, like this guy made the right choices in life, and he can't afford medical attention that his family needs. So he needs to go to the psycho guy who can afford those things because he made the wrong choices. And these two guys get kind of merged up together. And then you get an entire elongated set piece where they rob this bank. They get $16 million, but obviously everything, and it's one last job, but everything obviously has to go wrong. And they do this sort of logistical thing where they shoot a cop, and an ambulance makes its way in.
Oh, and it's important to know that
help this cop
shoots the cop.
Yes.
Because it comes into a great place at the end.
Yes, Yaha shoots the cop. And to protect his brother, too.
Yes.
Like
it's
Danny,
not just to shoot him. He
Jake
doesn't want to kill anybody. That was the whole plan originally.
Yes, and it's casually interspersed with this other plot of these pair of cops who is the partner constantly chases them for the rest of the film trying to get revenge for his partner, and his partner is held into the ambulance. But the situation they get into is that there's this EMT played by Isa Gonzalez who basically becomes like a third co-lead of the film at a certain point. I thought she was great.
Yeah, she's very, very good. And she has to play more of the a more grounded character. She's obviously going through a very stressful, intense time. So there's a lot of screaming and all of that. But, she's not doing what Jake is doing at all. She's definitely more of just the normal girl trying her best to get through the situation.
Well, and fantastic. I like too that we're introduced to her in this really gruesome sequence where she pulls up as an EMT to a 6-year-old girl who has been impaled in a car accident,
and
she's trying to get her out of the situation. Yeah, and they're showing a girl just straight up, like a little girl with a giant spike through her, essentially.
And then they have these moments where it's they use the jaw of life or the saw to cut her free, and as you see the impalement and the girl, they're holding hands, and she just starts screaming, and the music heightens, and of course you have all the Michael Bay visuals. It's heightened to such a extent that I started to really feel it. I was like, oh my god, this is wild. This is really visceral.
He really wants to get you into the intensity of being an EMT. I'm sure, and I think she even sums it up where she says, the worst moment of any other person's life is your Tuesday afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Where, which is really funny. And before the movie started, there was actually a cop, paramedic, firefighter promo before the movie. Yeah, and it said that almost exact same line, which I just thought was kind of funny to connect it then and then it's in a Bay movie. They literally almost said they were their worst days are my Wednesday or something like that, and then Gonzalez says it in the film, and I lost my mind. I'm like, that's so fucking Michael Bay.
Yeah, and the way that he just gets you into that level of minutely timed stress, because I know someone who works as a 911 operator, and that shit is incredibly stressful.
Yeah, I
so
can't imagine.
when she is being okay, we got this girl from her car to the hospital to perform surgery in 10 minutes, and then the second the girl gets in there, she's like, lunchtime?
Yeah,
because she is kind of desensitized herself to the personal qualities of this job because she can't. That's how she maintains professionalism to be good at it.
Yeah.
Yes, by not caring.
Which is a beautiful arc that she gets by the end. But
yes, this is kind of the key to the film is that all of a sudden Will and her character, I believe named Cam, they find themselves in this situation where the two bank robbers, Will and Danny, have kidnapped her and the cop that they shot in the ambulance while she's trying to preserve his life. And I kid you not, the next 90 minutes of the film are driving this ambulance around LA
trying to save the cop.
So a giant chase scene that is in typical Michael Bay fashion as maximalist and destructive, with car flips and rolls and explosions and gunfire galore that you could think about. But also they need to do that while not killing this cop in the back of their car.
So that Will doesn't go to jail, or at least for as long as he would if the cop died. So there's a brother
cop on board.
Yeah. And he doesn't want to kill a human being. So there's all these like motivating factors that I really like that kind of both clash and
just
work with
added
each other.
Stresses. There's like 10 stresses on every character.
Yes, exactly. and as situations arise, more come, and then some stresses kind of change, like what they're dealing with or what they're focusing on. There's just a lot of aspects to it that leads to constant tension because it just everyone is in a situation that is do or die. And so it never lets up. And I absolutely love it.
No,
I
mean,
the heightened style that really, because they have a ton of really cliche lines in this stuff like we don't get to walk into the sunset and stuff like
we're the bad guys.
You got to tell my wife, and then Gonzalez replies, no, you tell her yourself. That kind of shit. Like it's all in there. But because you have these heightened visuals and drones moving everywhere and surrounding and swooping around actors and shit, you just don't care. Everything feels right. It feels human.
It feels massive.
Yeah, it feels massive.
Yeah.
It's just, it's great.
And the stated ethos of the movie that both Will and Danny say at some point in the movie is, we don't stop.
That's
no
right.
matter what.
That's right.
We don't fucking stop. And this movie, as a result, doesn't stop, man. And at a certain point, the spectacle just is really, really absurd. And I think it's the first time in a while that Bay has found just perfect material for his spectacle. Yeah. Because usually, and as we've said,